Okay, fellas, here we are back again. i12gia, the voice of experience. It's another Wednesday evening on September 25th. Got a pretty interesting show lined up for you tonight. So, as we go along here, we're live on YouTube and we're live here also. Got a couple of new additions. We have our call in number is up and running now. It's 520-471-7054. If you want to give us a call, we'd love to talk to you. And then we also have our chat room open, so which you can see to the left there. It'll be live on here on Restream. If you want to talk to us, you can chat with us in there. So the topics for tonight, we're going to go ahead and continue on with the Trump assassination attempts. That's an ongoing problem. I think it's going to be forever. Um, we've got a few other things going on concerning the UN, concerning Zelensky hanging out with, actually campaigning for uh, Kamala Harris here. We're going to have a new addition to the show, which will be called Under the Radar, in which we're going to take a topic of the week that the media seems to completely ignore and that one would think would be of importance. We're going to talk about that a little bit and then kind of continue on as we go here. As we go through the process, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment because we would love to talk to you. Um, all right, we're going to go up with some issues on the Trump assassination first. So we're going to have about a 2 minute video, and then I'll turn it over to my partner Rennie, and we'll get going. All right, here we go, folks.
Play the 2 videos.
All roads to the Trump assassinations lead to one thing alone. So we see some similarities between the shooters. Both were donors to Act Blue, a PAC for the Democrat Party. Both managed to get within 500 yards of Trump. Both attempts were followed by the mainstream media kind of oddly downplaying the severity of the situations. And most importantly, Crooks was in a 2023 BlackRock commercial, and Routh was in a 2022 commercial for the Ukrainian militia that had been trained by the American CIA for the past decade and is funded by BlackRock. Here's the explanation. So for context, Ryan Routh was a construction worker in North Carolina that moved to Hawaii, has a house and a business there that wasn't making any money, so he was listed as unemployed. But he really cared about standing for Ukraine. So this former construction worker with no income, operating entirely alone, ran a website offering Americans $1,200 a month to fight for Ukraine, was illegally moving Afghani soldiers fleeing from the Taliban in Pakistan and Iran to fight for Ukraine, dropped everything for months at a time to fly himself to Ukraine, and flew to DC to lobby for Congress to recruit soldiers for Ukraine. He also has about 100 criminal filings, including a 2002 arrest for possessing a weapon of mass destruction, as most construction workers do, and he obviously still has weapons, and not only is he still allowed to vote, but to vote in North Carolina as recently as this year, even though he's a resident of Hawaii. And like most construction workers, he had a hunch where Trump would be on a Sunday afternoon and was waiting at the golf course for 12 hours ahead of time, even though Trump's schedule was off the record. The most probable explanation is tied to BlackRock. So in 2022, Routh was in a commercial that advertised the Yazov Battalion, which is
Okay, there's going to be a follow-up video to this in just a moment here. But Rennie, what do you think? What's going on, buddy?
Well, just the fact that he was in the CIA, but he was trained by the CIA. I mentioned on last week's show that he had a CIA handler who's gone missing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good book out there called Blowback on how the CIA gets itself involved in assassination of political leaders. I think it was Jimmy Carter that signed the law that said the CIA couldn't be involved in any more political assassinations, but I definitely don't believe that at all.
No.
And the fact that these two are so closely linked by by the same organizations leads no doubt in my mind that it's a concerted effort that coming from higher OGA, another OGA.
Yeah. Apparently, he has actually been officially charged now with attempting assassination of President Trump.
Yeah, and
as of today.
That probably means he's never going to see the light of day again.
No. I mean, one would hope he'd be in Guantanamo or someplace in a deep dark hole. Trainwreck, you got any comment on that?
Oh yeah, man, I could talk forever about
Well,
this.
don't, just as shortly.
I only have 34 pages, right?
Yeah.
I think we can track back the CIA, bouncing off what Renee said, all the way back to 1953. Nothing has changed. They got the same playbook. It'd be interesting to actually see what the CIA's actual charter is. Again, to bounce off what Renee was talking about, you said the law about what Carter may have signed, right? Well, what was their original charter? I've been told what it says is to collect intelligence and anything else, right? That's pretty broad, freaking. If that's what it really says, I'm trying to find it and I can't find it. And then I was told that it's actually that the charter itself is classified, right? Which makes no sense, right? But we do know what Truman said, and that was his intent was for the CIA only to collect intel for the presidential office so he could make an educated decision based on his own education, training, and experience. That was the intent. Truman's letter, it's what he said, it's not my interpretation. Um, but it'd be interesting to see what that says. It'd be interesting to see if Carter actually got that law signed, because then they'd be violating it. But their business plan has not changed. We can track it all the way back to Iran, 1950.
Yeah. Now, my understanding is that the gathering intelligence from foreign sources only. They're not to conduct any activity within the continental United States. It's all supposed to be foreign because, for example, they're doing the same thing the FBI is doing. The FBI has jurisdiction within the U.S. CIA has the same jurisdiction outside of the U.S. But I think these lines have been, by both agencies, have been blurred.
I think I would draw the distinction there between collect intel, like you described, and regime change by
Well, yeah,
assassination.
exactly. Yeah, there's a whole separate group. Well, special activities, for example. All right, we have another video that I'll do here real quick, and let's see what this one says.
Trained by the CIA and funded by BlackRock. So what links Ukraine, the CIA, and BlackRock? Well, ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis, the dissolution of the Russian Empire has been an American priority because they have nukes aimed at us. Now, BlackRock essentially owns the U.S. government, considering the top economic advisors for the Biden-Harris admin come from BlackRock. BlackRock wants the oil and rare metals in eastern Ukraine because it owns companies that sell oil and rare metals. So last year, BlackRock paid Ukraine $500 billion in exchange for all of Ukraine's main assets and put Ukraine in permanent debt to BlackRock. And since BlackRock owns our government, our CIA is BlackRock's personal military. And troubled souls like Ralph and Crooks are groomed to be useful pawns that exist to look like random eccentric people and take the sole blame for carefully crafted crimes like attempting to extinguish the primary threat to the mega monopoly that not only runs our government, but the world. Hence, after Crooks died and was supposed to be examined by the House Task Force, the FBI took the body and cremated it in secret. Not only law enforcement knew until 13 days after. Nobody sat his parents down and asked them why their kid had bombs or how he got the money for this, and they never will. The crime scene was scrubbed. So if it wasn't obvious before, it should be obvious now that your government, the CIA, the FBI, the Secret Service are a unit. Not because they're all buddies and love each other, but because they're owned by the same people. So anyone that threatens them, regardless of party affiliation, is a target. So no wonder for years people have said Trump would be assassinated, and no wonder they refused to give Secret Service protection to a Kennedy.
Okay, that was interesting. What do you guys think of BlackRock? They're into a lot of different stuff.
They're like the Wagner Group. They're scum. But that being said, if BlackRock sucked up Ukraine like that, why does Ukraine keep coming to us for money?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. My understanding of BlackRock was that they were just a financial management group. That's what they try to convince everybody that they are, because they manage a lot like public safety retirement funds, and they manage a whole bunch of stuff. And it sounds more like they're trying to do regime changes and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Trainwreck, go ahead.
Isn't BlackRock the largest defense contractor in the U.S.?
BlackRock? No, I don't think
No,
so.
that was
My
Blackwater.
Yeah, you're thinking of Blackwater. This is BlackRock. You see them running ads all over the place for financial management. That's what I'm saying. They do like public safety retirement programs and teachers' retirements and a whole bunch of stuff.
So, I think when you look at CIA history, then you look at all the things that have gone wrong with the 2 Trump attempted assassinations. It's hard to draw any other conclusion other than the CIA or members of the CIA were somehow wrapped up in this. I don't think you can honestly or reasonably come to any other conclusion, and the money's obviously there. And CIA has always tried to figure out way to fund programs that Congress didn't approve of. And let's look back historically again during the 80s. What was Oliver North doing? They were told by Congress not to fund, the Iran, not the Iran Contras. And they decided they were going to do a workaround and start selling weapons to Iran and then use the proceeds from that. So it's not like they're not opposed to doing workarounds.
Well, no, that's kind of the whole purpose of the whole thing. And that one in particular, that was a matter of, the fight against communism. The communists are invading South or Latin or Central America, actually. And the Contras were fighting the communists. So Congress didn't want to appropriate money to that because they might as well just be a bunch of communists there as Democrats are concerned.
And they've already decided to kick up this old fight again. The Cold War ended. And now that it's done in Southwest Asia, they've come up with another way to, keep the defense contractors paid.
Right. And as far as Iran-Contra goes, remember, they were selling those weapons to the Shah of Iran, not the Ayatollahs. Because Iran, we had friendly relations with Iran at that time. Nothing like it was now.
I guess my only point to that, Fogg, is that Congress came out and said no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
so they worked around.
Tried to say, we know better. We're just going to ignore you. Right?
Yeah. Well, that was, Reagan said, actually, but anyway.
Reagan and Ollie North,
Yeah. Go ahead, Lenny.
Trevek, it's Executive Order 11905, signed initially by President Ford, prohibiting any member of the U.S. government, that would include all your alphabet agencies, from engaging in any political assassination anywhere in the world. That means the United States as well. In wake of revelations that the Central Intelligence Agency had attempted to assassinate Cuban leader Fidel Castro in the 1960s. That said, it was successively superseded by Executive Order 12036, signed by Jimmy Carter in 1978, and Executive Order 12333, signed by Ronald Reagan in 1981. So there are definitely executive orders and laws that prohibit the U.S. government from being involved in political assassinations.
And there's no accountability. And, if they're involved with what's going on right now, that, they ought to be drugged by their ears.
There's zero accountability.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
Okay, next up, we've got a letter here coming up next, and a manifesto. Apparently, this the second nut job that tried to assassinate President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And it involves a bounty, apparently. Which we'll just run it and see what happens here. Maybe, come on, or maybe there it is. It's just a graphic. Okay.
Yeah. It's just a graphic.
Trained by the CIA and funded by BlackRock. So what?
That was weird. I don't know why that.
It's the next. Go to the next one.
Yeah.
And it's just a graphic for everybody to see.
Okay. It's not opening because it's showing it's at a minute of 50. All right. So, sorry, folks, having some technical difficulties here. I
You
had a
want this?
minute. No. Yeah,
Right
there
there.
you go. Yeah. Okay.
So that's the manifesto that the. So, as far as I'm concerned, the FBI put a contract out on Donald Trump for 150,000. All right, I'll be the first to say it. Uh,
I'll second it.
it is what it is.
Mhm.
The FBI took almost 2 years to release the manifesto from that shooter in North Carolina, the transgender that shot up the school.
Right.
But yet, 2 days afterwards, they released this thing here. That's putting a hit on Donald Trump for FBI put a hit on Donald Trump for $150,000.
Yep.
As he says it right in there. If he fails and somebody else is successful, he'll give him $150,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
Since
that's an FBI hit on the president, the potential 47th president of the United States.
hey, since Fogg hasn't shown support for your motion, I think I can speak for everybody in the group that we second and third your.
Oh,
your-
yeah, definitely. Definitely,
I-
especially in view of that. Yeah.
I'll drag them along with us.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense at all.
And the reason I posted that other picture of the Secret Service that you just moved it.
This guy.
How fucked up is it? The Secret Service agent in charge of flying the drone that day had to call the 1-800 number.
Oh, I know. I heard that today. What the hell?
Customer service because he couldn't figure out how to fly it.
Operate the drone.
Are you kidding me?
No,
It's-
it all comes down. I'm telling you, these guys, they have the United States has allowed this reputation of Secret Service agents to grow to where we think every one of them is of the quality of Jason Bourne, right? And then they come out and behave like they did basically for both attempted assassinations, right? And you really have to start second guessing how qualified. And the problem is, the rest of the world are watching, and then we can hear their laughs all the way from over here. You just got to listen.
Yeah. What do you guys think about replacing the Secret Service with the U.S. with the Marshals, U.S. Marshals Office, and having them run all the security and
I
stuff?
like the idea.
Yeah.
I would, since you asked us both, I would only say, do they need to be replaced? Yes, but they need to be replaced with a combination of the guys from Delta and SEAL Team 6. That ought to be an additional duty you pull in and allow them to do it because they are the ones that are capable.
You can't
tell
do that.
me officials are as skilled as the guys from those units. And I know it's going to be, there's probably things like
Can't do that.
You can't do it. I get it. But posse comitatus. You can't do it. The U.S. military can't act inside the U.S. or inside the U.S.
Well,
borders.
we need to figure out how to get the same quality out of some of these other agencies.
But- and-
US Marshals,
Don't think
US
you're gonna get
Marshal
it.
Service.
Yeah, exactly. The other issue with that, and I see what you're saying, and a lot of people have that same belief. The problem, though, okay, look, Delta, SEAL, whatever, they're the tip of the spear. Those guys do one thing and they do it extremely well, and that's kill people and blow shit up. End of story. They're not law enforcement professionals. They're not. They have very, very rigid, very strict minimum. It's like pointing a cruise missile at something with that. You don't have them doing that shit. It's below their in my opinion, it's below their dignity, and they're used to do that. Yes, because
let me push back on just what you said just a second.
okay,
There would be no more honorable thing for our people to do than to protect the president of the United States. That's number one. Number two, you can look at some of these guys that used to do that just retired from there, and pull them in, tell them that they're going to work for the U.S. Marshals specifically to do protective, send them to Glencoe, let them go through a 2-week academy, whatever it is, right? And then suddenly, God bless, now we have the same quality working for us because they're not going to be out there arresting everybody. We're talking protective service detail. That's what they're going to do.
okay, but it's two completely different missions. That's like, for example, you're not going to have a SEAL team serving a search warrant, for example.
You could take the same argument and say that protective services is not what cops do. We don't do that. We don't fucking do that. None of us do that. Maybe,
Yeah, but
maybe.
Go ahead,
No,
Ren-
I-
Go ahead,
I'd be
Renee.
remiss if I didn't. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that sometimes they pull from other federal agencies too. Like,
Yeah.
if they had something going on, sometimes they pull from the State Department.
There's
You know?
none of our people in law enforcement agencies have the education, training, experience, skill sets to do what's required to protect the president. They've proven it. You can't convince me that any of them in any of our agencies have that level of experience or skill sets.
That's
You
not
know?
what they. That's not what they do, though. I mean, that's not their purpose.
But that's my point. You're trying to take a law enforcement mission and do it in protective services. And it's not the same thing. We need people that's all they do is protective services,
Yeah,
and they
the
give
reason.
them a bit-
Okay, it has.
if it's
Well, yeah,
federal
unless
government,
you want to start another bureaucracy, another bunch of people, or another bureaucracy, basically, to do this. Now, look, Secret Service was set up. I have all the details somewhere, but I forgot what they are. It was set up to go after counterfeiters, right? And that
right.
was their mission. Somehow, they ended up protecting the president. The majority of presidents have been extremely negative about Secret Service. I think Teddy Roosevelt, for example, I think said they're only useful for looking good at parties and drinking or something.
They used to be
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Treasury Department. Okay. The reason I say marshals is within their purview is protecting justices.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
what I'm
they're
gonna be
trained
doing.
to do that. They're protecting federal judges. So they already have that
That's
set
gonna-
up.
That's
They have a
gonna be one
lot.
of my job functions.
Exactly. They have a law enforcement component. So legally,
Yeah.
they can function in any capacity within the United States, and after with proper credentialing overseas, also like the FBI does
Yeah.
when they're sent outside the U.S. for specific missions.
Yeah.
The military issue. So you don't have the posse comitatus issues of the military acting within the U.S. I mean, I see what you're saying, but you want to develop another agency. And
No, don't put words into my mouth. I'm suggesting ideas. I don't know how we're going to do it, but let me draw a distinction here. There's a difference between this is part of your mission, and having them have the same quality that you might have with some of these other units that do protective services and take it for real, right? So it might be part of their mission, but I don't think it's the same quality. And that's what we need. We need the same mission, same quality, and the people that we have right now, they don't have it. You know, we've just been lucky nobody's tried to kill one of our Supreme Court justices.
oh, there's been a bunch of threats on their lives. Several people have tried to kill Supreme
Yeah,
Court
but
justices.
It's the U.S. Marshals that protect the Supreme Court justices,
Yeah.
not the Secret Service.
Threats is different than being shot in the ear, active shooters, right? They just have never had to perform, right? When was the last time U.S. Marshals actually, an incident has actually happened, right?
Let's
And the
see.
Secret Service has this job, but there hasn't been an attempt for 40 years until President Trump. That's the difference. We all just assumed that they were all Jason Bourne, and we find out the hard way it's not the case.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, without a doubt. But I just don't think that's the right way to address it.
Everybody should be trained to engage an active shooter. I don't care if you're a local street cop or you're a Secret Service agent. Everybody should be
There's a
trained
difference
to
between
engage a
training
shooter.
and there's a difference between training and doing it all the time and really amping up the quality of protection that you're getting. There is a
Yeah,
huge
no, there's
difference.
not, because you could be riding around in a cruiser for 8 hours
Well,
a day, 6
no, Renee,
months out of the year, and then all of a sudden you get a call to a school for an active shooter.
Renee,
You have to be
what
ready
you
to go.
let me push back on what you said, because Renee, that's not true. Because that's what the Secret
Oh my God.
Service is supposed to do. That's what the fucking Secret Service is supposed to do. And look how they fucked it up. That's the only mission they have. So don't give me that shit just because this is their fucking job. They're going to have the same quality. Because the fact of the matter is they don't. And they've proven it every fucking time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Secret
Don't
Service.
tell me they're the same. It's fucking different.
I'm talking about other agencies, local police departments that are trained.
They're not going to perform the same quality as a Secret Service because they don't do it
If
day
they
in
can
and
go
day
after
out.
an active shooter, they most certainly can.
They don't do it day in and day out. And that's what we need when we're talking about protecting our politicians. We need people that the only thing that they do is do protection.
It was a local police department sniper that shot the fucking rifle out of the fucking guy's hand in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and you had a whole bunch of people that all they're supposed to do is protect the fucking president. And look how those motherfuckers fucked it up.
Which leads us to another question here. Where do those people come from? Because a lot of them were on loan from Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Right?
I just told you that. They draw from other agencies.
Yeah, and they borrow because, and there's a congressional investigation going on about this shit right now from House Oversight.
Let me also add that those motherfuckers, the same ones that shot it, saw that motherfucker sitting on top of the building for fucking 2 minutes with a fucking rifle. And you know what? They didn't shoot until he shot back. So don't give me this bullshit about they're just disqualified, because the fact of the matter is they all prove that they are not.
You're right. They're not.
Their rules of engagement are different than the federals.
Okay, moving right along. All right.
They're not the same. That's why the guy was allowed to take a shot, because none of our people fucking did it. And if there's problems with the rules of engagement, then that needs to be fucking adjusted also. But that's part of the fucking plan when you go out there. All that shit's supposed to be a part of the plan.
It is.
There's no way what they did is acceptable.
No, and nobody's saying that. What we are, look, as difficult as it is to say, they fucked up intentionally. Seems to be the general consensus here.
Yeah.
There were two issues here. The reason and again, as I said earlier, congressional hearings are being held on this right now, House Oversight. They borrow people from Homeland. Just be quiet for a minute. They borrow people from Homeland Security to assign them to protect the president. Or the former president. That's seriously fucked up. Those people had no idea what they were doing, and no training. Okay, was that intentional or was it an accident? Apparently, they needed people to go sit on Jill Biden while she went to a fundraiser party or something. That's where the Secret Service detail was for her, right? Okay. Was it intentional or not? Was the general consensus seems to be, as you said earlier too, the $150,000 hit from the FBI on the former president. What's going on with this shit? Are they intentionally trying to get this guy killed? Are they setting him up? Are they setting the Secret Service and everybody else up to fail? I guess is what I'm asking.
Today on the news that they expect more attempts on his life. So.
Well, yeah.
I do need to say something really quick so people that watch this don't understand what happened. I'm pretty passionate about it. The people that watch this need to know I have the utmost respect for Renee. That is not personal, right?
No, I know it's not, but I am trained to go after active shooters. I've done it twice, okay? So
am I. I've been involved in 2 in-custody deaths. How many of you have been involved in?
I'm very capable.
All right, gentlemen, let's keep this more civil, all right? We're going to move on to another topic. Actually, it's time for a break, so we're going to take a break. We will be back. Do we have our break scene here somewhere? Probably not, huh? But we can fix that real quick. We're going to go for 5 minutes once I get this set up. Okay, and we are back. Thanks, folks, if you're still sticking around. Don't forget that we have a live call-in number here. Damn it, it's not on the screen. All right, never mind. Uh, it'll come up in the next one. All right, we're done with that last topic. Okay, we're gonna move on to something a little bit different here. We're gonna have a new segment on the show. It's called Under the Radar, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the media that seems to get lost in the shuffle, or people are more concerned about what kind of tennis balls the Kardashians are fondling or various other assorted things, and forget about the important stuff. So something that popped up this morning that got my attention was the Mexican government is actively engaged south of the border with the Sinaloa cartel, who are in turn fighting with each other. You got OG versus the new guys within the cartel. Now, the Mexican government apparently found a cache of weapons just on the other side of the Arizona-Mexico border, just outside of Ajo, Arizona. And there were 11 IEDs that were pre-manufactured and a whole stash of RPGs. Now, they're saying that it's for use by the cartels against each other. But there are several other professionals within the field that are saying that the intention is to smuggle those on our side of the border and use them against us. Rennie, what do you think about that?
Yeah, Pete Foselli, he was a guest on our show, said he thinks that they may have been there for other reasons, not strictly for the cartels. I'm trying to find the article now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, Pete, by the way, while you're looking, Pete is probably the premier subject or premier expert on that topic. He was assistant director of ATF in New York. He's the guy that broke the Fast and Furious scandal that Obama had going on, and wrote a really good, yeah, Pete Porcelli, yeah, and wrote a really good book on that subject too. So you
Path to Death, I think is what that's called, or Death.
Deadly Path. Yeah, it's on Amazon. So if you want to go buy it, I think all of us got authors copies, signed authors copies when it first came out. He was one of our very first guests last year when he just got going. Now he's pretty much traveling the world doing all kinds of shit. He's a good guy. But yeah, so in other words, my point being is that anything he has to say about this subject, I don't believe him a hell of a lot more than I will believe the Mexican government. So I don't know, Trainwreck, is that what do you think that's like going to be a cartel issue? Because that's down in your neighborhood. Is it going to be a cartel issue? Is it going to be a terrorism issue, or what?
I figured I was grounded.
No.
No, I would just wonder, where they got them. Are they being fed kind of like Fast and Furious, where they did AR-15s? The CIA feeding them that stuff. Those are my thoughts on it. Where are they getting them? Are we feeding them?
Well, shit, who knows? It depends on the motivation. I think it makes a lot more sense to me. Well, the cartels, man. I mean, it's a pretty serious war right now. The IED aspect bothers me, which as you know, you're extremely familiar with. I don't like the fact that they're even using them at all. That's a whole different level of expertise. Those are terrorist devices. They're not necessarily.
Yeah. To answer your question, you asked me. Yes, I believe they're terrorists, and we should approach them like that.
Yeah. The cartel. You want to treat the cartels as terrorist organizations, which they are.
Yep.
Yeah, that would make a hell of a lot more sense. I guess they're finally looking at that at Tren de Agua too. They're going to start, instead of calling them a transnational criminal organization, they're going to start calling them terrorists, which is what those assholes are too. They're causing problems all over the country. So something else to thank Biden for letting the Venezuelan floodgates open.
It's just like I think we should treat the group that we were talking about them the other day, the ones that are taking over apartments and stuff. I think we should deal with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Rennie, are you still looking for something there, or are you back with us? Okay. All right, we'll just keep going then.
I'm going to get hammered. He's looking up something there. I'm going to end up eating all my words.
Yeah. Well, don't let us interrupt you there, buddy. We'll keep going while you're While you're
No,
researching
I was
shit.
trying to find his article
Yeah.
on LinkedIn about how those
Oh.
IEDs, and I think there was some grenades and stuff.
Yeah. RPGs.
Yeah, RPGs. Yeah. Uh, I think he said he didn't think they were linked to the cartels.
Okay, so he's thinking there's more of a terrorist act, and like they're organized terrorists
Yeah.
that are going to be using them against
Us.
us. Yeah,
What do you think? Do you think that they're terrorists or you think they're criminal?
I'm going with terrorists.
I'm going with terrorists.
Yeah, you know the cartels have enough of their own shit. I mean, they'll use that stuff, but that's pretty weird. That's just a no. And the fact that the Mexican government found them is unusual too.
Instead of sending money to Ukraine, I think we should be focus that money on mitigations to deal with a potential threat like this. That's what I think. I think the money is better spent that way.
Yep.
But
Which
Well,
is that's
Merrick
go ahead.
Garland should be putting people in prison too, and he's not. So
Well, Merrick Garland should be in prison.
chances of that happening are slim to none.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into the next topic, which is what Ukraine. What the fuck are these people doing? There's the White House.
this dealt with the message I got on this had something to do with a Washington, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I remember when I posted this, and maybe I got the wrong picture, but there was a message that had something to do with a blackout.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's kind of all combined, really. We're just going to kind of from this point on, we're just going to discuss this other shit. Ukraine. Let's talk about Ukraine real quick. The White House is an appropriate place for us since it seems like there's the president of a foreign nation is here in the United States right now begging for money. He's got $38 million yesterday, $325 million yesterday, and another $8 billion today. And that guy is Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. So he went to a weapons factory, apparently, where I guess he's got a bunch of new artillery shells there. And him and somebody from the State Department were signing them or some big photo op bullshit. So while he was there, he made a speech in support of Harris and Waltz, or whatever his name is. Is it's just a tad inappropriate for the president of a foreign nation to be interfering in the United States with elections, with presidential elections. He's talking all kinds of shit about Trump and so forth. Randy, what do you think?
Bad optics, but he didn't cross any lines.
You don't think so? Okay.
No. I researched the Constitution. I researched the Federal Elections Commission.
Okay.
There was no transfer of money involved, no political donations.
Okay.
The only thing that was questionable was flying him on an Air Force jet.
On a C-17, yeah. They brought him and his whole entourage, yeah. Has that ever been done before?
He didn't cross any lines.
Has it ever been done before? Other than the UN, I mean that's a whole separate thing. But I mean, has the maybe it has. I don't know. That'd be like having Bibi show up at some place and stumping for President Trump.
I think he actually did. Bibi actually did in 2020.
Did he? Okay, all right. Well, maybe it just pissed me off just because it did. But
yeah. All
right, Trainwreck, you got any thoughts on that?
Just up to you. Trump they bent him over for even less, just over a phone call, right? And now they're going to get a pass on this. I guess I just disagree. I haven't looked up the law or anything, but I guess I look at it still as interference. They bent Trump over a barrel over just a phone call. It has nowhere near in comparison, and yet they act like this is no big deal.
Exactly. Well, that's Democrats. That's just the way they roll.
So I think I would take the opposite side of that argument.
Okay. But no laws are broken. But as you said, optics look bad. Everybody else is pissed off about it in general. And there are some, apparently House Oversight's looking into that also, though, about why was this, but the issue is going to be using military aircraft. and why the
That
hell
was
is he on
the
a
issue that they
C-17?
were, that was the bug up their ass today. Why was he flown on an Air Force jet?
You know, at what is it, $12,000 an hour or whatever it is to
Something like
operate
that,
one of
yeah.
those things. Yeah, the taxpayers, like we're not already picking up enough of that shithead's bill. Okay, so while we're still there in the White House, something else of interest is going on. Another question: why the fuck did Congress, both houses, just take the entire month of October off? There's nothing on their schedule for October. Now, this has never happened before. There's been times throughout history where they've taken a few days off, sometime, a week or so during the campaign season, but not prior to a presidential election. They're gone for the entire month,
Yeah.
and they're out of DC.
I've been digging, and digging. I can't find anything on that.
Okay, so nobody has any like hardcore idea. Nobody said, well, it's because we're all having a big birthday party at Mount Rushmore or something, or
No.
okay. Well, there's a theory that kind of goes along with. I'm hoping it's here somewhere. Is it this one? Yeah. There's a theory go around. Well, it's not even a theory right now. They're trying to get this passed. There's an amendment to the Constitution to replacing members of Congress after a mass casualty event. Okay, be that of various sorts. I would assume that could be. It doesn't really specify whether it's a mass casualty caused by some kind of a natural disaster or something else. And the amendment isn't going to pass. There's no way in hell that's going to get through anyway. There's two Democrats, 2 Republicans running this thing, but it's set up to where the Congress can make their own nominations. It's not going to have to go through an election process of any kind. Apparently.
So the way I understand it is they would go to the governor of the state and they'd ask the governor of the state to appoint a successor.
Right. Yeah. Regardless of whatever the people wanted to do at the time.
Right. Yeah. So it takes the voting populace right out of it.
Right.
And
Go
there's
ahead.
precedents on it already. They already did it with Kamala.
I think there might be a simpler answer to that, just to take an opposing view, and that is we have an election coming up, and I think they're out in October, so Republicans can't take advantage of any potential successes. That would be my first guess, was they close down Congress so Republicans can't do anything that they could run on for the election.
Yeah, they're going to do as much damage as they possibly can. See, there was a theory too that I had heard or saw that no member of Congress can be arrested while Congress is out of session. But Rennie put his lawyer hat on and debunked that theory. So that is not correct. If you hear that popping up anywhere, but it has to do with these mass casualty drills and replacing a whole bunch of members of Congress as a result of. If they all get whacked at the same time, however that's supposed to work. Now, apparently there is some precedent. There's a precedent for this, though, that I found back in 2007, or back in December 7th of 2000. Bill Clinton had signed a bill called the Extraordinary Nuclear Incident. If Congress were to be attacked and removed through a nuclear incident of some kind, this same kind of activity would kick in and be the same process. So,
Chet, or Fogg, do you think that has something to do with discussions of a potential civil war, and they're trying to prep for that?
That's my question. Yeah. Is there going to be some kind of mass casualty event at Congress? I mean, are they that concerned? Are they thinking about some other kind of, January 6th kind of a thing? Or something else. I mean, who fucking knows right now? At the UN right now, we have every enemy of our country is sitting in the UN right now talking shit about us. The president of Iran, what the fuck is he doing there?
Well, hey,
You know,
let me give you something to piss you off if you really want to be pissed off.
oh, sure, why not?
The Secret Service can't protect Donald Trump, but they can protect the president of Iran.
Yeah, I know. That boggles the mind, doesn't it? They're tasked with protecting him.
How
You're
fucked up
gonna fucking
is
amp
that?
me up again. I'm trying to calm down.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I get it. Yeah, I just, yeah, same here. I just found out about that today too. That makes absolutely no sense. So that's just kind of an interesting topic, I guess. Well, fellas, we got like 10 minutes left. Anything else you guys want to go over? Anything that's of importance or no? Yes?
I just think we're headed down some dangerous and unprecedented roads that we've never been down before. I don't think we're ready to make that journey. I
Yeah.
don't think the people have the stomach for what's to come. My own humble opinion.
Yeah, Trainwreck, you had said earlier about oh, what the fuck was it now? About Jesus Christ, my brain just died. Sorry, fellas. It'll come to me in a minute. Whatever it was important.
Can I ask a question then?
Sure.
Kind of going along with what you have here, right? You think maybe somebody's figuring that maybe the economy is going to crash because we can't even afford to pay interest rates on what we owe, and that might lead to something like this with if the economy tanks.
Well, it's possible. Yeah, I wouldn't be because something has to happen. That's as a point. Well, yeah, because somebody was talking about the reason it's happened before. Whenever just prior to a black swan event, this kind of thing has happened before, where Congress has taken a bunch of time off. They did it apparently before 9/11. So there is some history about these kind of events. We'll just have to kind of wait and see for that. Now, talk about, because you guys, as the voice of experience, what do you guys think? Let's say Trump wins. What's the world going to be like on the day following his nomination or his win? We're going to wake up in the morning and what's the world going to look like? The world going to look like?
You mean the day after the election or the
The
day
day
after
after-
he's sworn in?
The day after he's sworn in.
Too many variables to even think about that.
Okay, let's do the day after the election.
So, if the Republicans don't take the House and the Senate, they'll start impeachment proceedings against them right away. So they'll impeach him in the House, they'll try him and find him guilty in the Senate, and they'll fucking remove him from office. So
Okay.
not only do the Republicans need to win the White House, but they need to win at least one or both of the other houses for Trump to have a successful 4-year presidency.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me ask you this. Let's say if Trump wins, who's going to be more violent, or who's going to take violent action, or is there going to be any kind of a violent response?
Yes, by the Democrats, but absolutely.
History's already recently shown that. So if Trump wins, I anticipate the next day things will immediately get improved. And the reason I say that is because that's what happened last time.
Right.
So look at history. Stock market went up. Everything, we're drill, baby, drill. Economy's going to get better. Now, does that mean that Congress isn't going to have this problem? No, I hadn't even thought about what Renee just said. I think he's probably right. They will try and impeach him. But if they do that, then that leads to this slide thing again, right?
Right.
So if Trump wins and Renee's vision comes true, I think that will lead to crazy violence. That will lead to kind of what you're talking about here. But I think if the day after, things will immediately improve because that's what history has shown us last time.
Yeah. Hopefully, okay. What happens if Trump loses?
The
Right?
only reason that things improved the last time was because he had a Republican House and a Republican Senate.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a deciding factor. They got to win all three.
That's going to be the key. The down ballots are going to be the key.
Yeah, they're already trying to do investigations against this guy. Again,
And don't forget, voting's already in person and mail-in ballots have already started in a lot of states.
Yeah, Swalwell and Jamie Raskins are making noises about starting investigations against him again, all this other kind of crap. Okay, well, all right. Another question: what happens if Harris wins? What's the following day look like?
Get ready for the plunge. Get ready for the plunge into socialism.
I think it depends on how she wins, Flog. I think if it's a landslide, let's just play that out for a second.
Yeah.
If it's a landslide, I mean, no doubt who won. I think that welcome to socialism will be the next Venezuela, right? If it's close and there's questions about fraud like last time, I think that the American people's reaction will be violent. I don't think there'll be any holding it back.
Yeah.
Which leads me to a question to you guys. Have you guys been practicing your Chinese? I think I'm gonna get one of those those lessons you get offline where I forget what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. My thoughts on all this is if Trump wins, we're going to see riots in the streets. We're going to see massive civil disobedience, and it's going to come from Antifa, the Palestinian, so-called Palestinian support Palestinian protesters, BLM, every other liberal Democrat group is going to crawl off one of their rocks and start blowing shit up and lighting things on fire. If Harris wins, I think you're going to see all of us, those folks, all of us just want to be left the fuck alone. We're going to go back into having a low profile again and just try to get our asses through, because it's going to be for 4 years, and just try to get through the next 4 years.
I don't
as
think
worse
a lot
as
of us are going to last 4 years.
Well, I know, and that's. But my point is, from a matter of, from the standpoint of mindset, I think, because you're going to have conservatives, they're going to be pissed. We're not going to be happy. There's going to be some noise, a lot of complaining, and so forth. But in general, we're not going to be burning cities down. If Trump does win, yeah, those fucking assholes. I mean, whatever sets them off, hell, they're doing it right now. There's major cities in our country that you can't even go into.
Right.
So what they're going to do. So that was my question.
So now that you get this video up, this picture up, let me throw something else by it. October 1st is a significant date. Can you tell me what it is?
No.
Anybody? No. Longshoremen are going out on strike.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So I saw the two planned routes that they have for moving merchandise.
Yeah.
It was directly from Europe to Virginia, or the second route, which is the route they're going to use, is down bottom South America through the Panama Canal, up into the Pacific Ocean, into the port of Los Angeles, and then they're going to ship the stuff from Los Angeles to Virginia. So you go to the store now, you pay $1.19 for $1.19 for a roll of Scott toilet paper to wipe your ass with. You're gonna be paying $10.99.
Yeah. Who all's on strike now? We got Longshoremen. Boeing's on strike.
Longshoremen are going out. Yeah.
Yeah, and Boeing's on strike. They got somebody else too. Isn't somebody else getting? Isn't SA or the teachers union or something? Aren't they making noise too?
Longshoremen is going to have financial impact. It's going to affect food. It's going to affect.
Oh well, yeah.
medicine.
Yeah.
It's going to affect people that haven't done their fucking Christmas shopping yet, that they usually go berserk over.
Right. Well, all of them. Well, if
bad
Boeing
times coming.
Oh yeah, definitely. Boeing out on strike, that affects travel. All the rest of that kind of stuff. Teachers union goes out. They shut the schools down. So where the kids go? Yeah, it's. I don't know.
I think when you look at what's going to happen depending on who wins and who loses. Uh, the Democrats have one huge advantage, and that is when they decide they're going to do something, they get every one of their people together, right? Republicans, we can't do that. We're so fractured,
Yeah,
we can't get people to get together and support one idea.
yeah,
That is true.
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
That is
All right,
very true.
folks, we're coming up on the end of our hour here, so we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. A lot of bad stuff, a lot of bad things going on. That's kind of unfortunate that we're going to have to deal with. As this last graphic here shown, unforeseen black swan events, disruptions, pandemics, socioeconomic disruptions, large scale climatic events. Well, I'm in the middle of a hurricane right now, so I guess that's kind of appropriate. Um, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I guess everybody just wants all this shit to be over with, man. I was talking to somebody last week that's running for county commissioner's office here. We're in my area, and I was talking to his wife, and I said, "You guys got to be tired of this, this campaigning and everything else." And she said, everybody's so fucking nasty right now. I shouldn't say fucking, I did, but she said everybody's so nasty the way they are. The politics right now are just horribly dirty. And she said, like, after every event, I feel like I want to go home and take a shower, every time I watch one of these things.
Yeah.
And that's not how, it's not supposed to be like that. We're all Americans. We really need to start acting like it. So I don't know. Rennie, go ahead and do your final statements there, buddy.
All right, my final statement. I'm going to give a plug. I want to give a plug to the Exeter Hospital ALS service. So our local hospital was bought out by a Boston hospital, Beth Israel Leahy, and we had our paramedic service. So they were all done as of December 20th, unless by somehow by the grace of God, some hand comes down and touches somebody. But these folks go out, they save lives every day, and our community can't do without them. So if you're listening to this show, you need to call the governor's council. You need to really step up and make sure these folks don't lose their jobs, because people are going to suffer, lives are going to be lost.
Yep, it's important service. Trainwreck. You got any final statements, final closing thoughts?
Yes, I do. Um, Big thing is, I don't want anybody to listen to this. I owe everybody an apology. I let my
Oh, don't worry about that. Just it's fine.
I respect and admire Rennie. He didn't deserve that. I'm ashamed and embarrassed that I let my temper get out of control. And we don't accomplish anything with doing that.
Right.
So anyway, I'll just leave it at that. I just want everybody to know that's where I stand with Rennie. It wasn't personal. It's the issues that get me amped up.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. All right, folks. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. We're going to be Trainwreck has hooked us up with a chief of police from Washington that is going to be discussing body cameras and AI, and I want to do something on the ethical use of drones and warfare, and then we're also going to continue on with the kind of stuff we have right now between now and the election. It's hard to plan for anything because things change so fast. Every day right now with a 24-hour news cycle and everything else, there's something happening in the world that is not getting the attention it should. It's like we're all on information overload. So those are things that we're going to try to do in the future. We may get there, we may not. But for next week, hopefully you'll stick around with us, and because we do try to entertain and educate, as we go along. After all, we are the voice of experience. There's about 80 years of law enforcement and security work and diplomatic services and contracting and public safety and all kinds of stuff between all of us, which is why we are the voice of experience. So on that happy note, I'm going to go ahead and close out. If you guys want to, next time around, we have the call-in line number up. It's 520-471-7054. We'd love to talk to you. And you can also watch us live we actually are broadcasting live right now on YouTube at i12gia, the voice of experience. So I'm going to head and say good night. Renee, you want to say your good nights?
Yep. Good night, folks. It was a pleasure being here with my brothers. Shout out to I12, our sponsors, i12gia and Peace of Mind Training.
Okay, Trainwreck. Plug your podcast.
Absolutely. Don't forget to hit the like, the comment, and the subscribe. Uh, we are here to entertain you and make people think. So we don't always agree, but that's what this is all about.
Hey,
All right.
Hey, have we picked a night for the Dancing with the Stars segment yet? No.
No, we're not going to. No. I want to do the Masked Singer or some such nonsense like that. All right, folks. Anyway, it's been a pleasure spending an hour with you as usual, and I hope you've enjoyed that as much as we have being here for you. Keep the ones you love close. Give them a big hug. Be prepared to self-rescue.